This place isn't much, but it's home.
I love it. It feels so cozy.
Thanks, that means a lot.
They started with nothing. Not the romantic kind of nothing people post online with soft music and filtered memories. Real nothing. A small apartment with peeling paint, one stubborn fan that only worked when it felt generous, meals planned around prices instead of cravings. But they were happy, because struggle feels lighter when two people carry it together. Lena and Daniel met when both were just starting their lives. Same income, same worries, same late-night conversations about a future that felt far away but possible. They used to joke, "One day we'll look back and laugh at this," and they believed it. They split everything equally: rent, groceries, bills, dreams. Equality wasn't a rule they discussed. It just happened naturally. If one paid today, the other paid tomorrow. No tracking, no competition. Just partnership. 3 years later, Lena got promoted. It wasn't dramatic, just an email notification during lunch, a quiet smile, a small celebration that night with cheap takeaway and laughter. The salary increase helped. Suddenly there was breathing room, less stress at the end of each month. Daniel was genuinely proud. He told friends and family about her success like it was his own. "She works harder than anyone I know," he'd say. And for a while, nothing changed. They still cooked together, still argued about movies, still planned vacations they couldn't fully afford yet. But success has a quiet side effect. It changes options, and options slowly change behavior. 6 months later came another promotion, then bonuses, then bigger responsibilities. Lena's world expanded. New coworkers, business dinners, conversations about investments, markets, and opportunities Daniel didn't fully understand. Meanwhile, Daniel's career stayed steady. Not bad, not failing, just unchanged. At first, he didn't mind. Someone winning meant both were winning. That's what they always believed. The first real shift happened at a restaurant. The bill arrived, and Daniel reached for it automatically. Lena smiled. "I've got this." He laughed. "Next one's mine." But next time came, and she paid again, and again. Soon their usual affordable places were replaced by restaurants Daniel would never have chosen himself. Vacations upgraded, furniture replaced, small luxuries became normal. None of it felt wrong, but something subtle changed. Decisions stopped being discussions. They became upgrades, and upgrades came faster than Daniel could emotionally adjust.
Ego didn't arrive loudly. There were no fights or slammed doors, just small moments. Lena choosing a new apartment because it was closer to work. Daniel agreeing, even though the rent now depended mostly on her income. Lena talking confidently about investments at dinner, while Daniel nodded, pretending he followed every detail. Friends started joking. "So Daniel, when are you catching up?" Everyone laughed. Daniel laughed too. But jokes sometimes land exactly where insecurity already lives. Slowly, Daniel stopped offering opinions about money, not because he didn't care, but because he felt less qualified. Lena didn't notice at first. She thought she was helping, taking pressure off him, paying more, planning more, leading more. At work, leadership made her successful. At home, it created distance. One evening, she came home excited. "I found a better investment opportunity," she said. "We should move some of our savings." Daniel hesitated. "Our savings?" he asked quietly. She paused, realizing too late how the words sounded. He sat down and finally said what had been building inside him for months. "I'm proud of you," he said carefully. "But sometimes it feels like your life is moving forward, and I'm just trying to keep up." The room fell silent. Not angry silence, heavy silence, honest silence. "I don't feel equal anymore," he admitted. Lena's expression softened. I never wanted that. I know, he said, but intention doesn't change feeling. It wasn't jealousy, it wasn't resentment, it was identity. For years, they had been partners climbing together. Now it felt like one person was climbing while the other held the ladder. And suddenly, Lena understood something uncomfortable. Success had quietly changed her behavior. She made more decisions, asked fewer questions, solved problems alone. Not because she loved him less, but because she had learned to be in control at work and carried that habit home without realizing it. Then Lena admitted something she hadn't said out loud before. I feel pressure now, she said softly. Like I can't fail because everything depends on me. Daniel looked surprised. He thought she felt powerful. She felt responsible. Two completely different experiences inside the same reality. That night, they didn't argue. They talked for hours about fear, about pride, about how money doesn't just change bank accounts, it changes how people see themselves. They decided to rebuild intentionally. Big decisions required both voices again. Money conversations became open instead of assumed. They created shared goals instead of endless lifestyle upgrades. Daniel started learning new skills he had postponed for years, not to compete, but to grow.
Daniel, what do you think?
Lena learned to pause before deciding, to ask instead of assume. Because equality isn't about earning the same amount, it's about feeling valued the same. A year later, their lives looked better than ever. More income, more stability, but more importantly, more understanding. They realized something most couples learn too late. Money doesn't destroy relationships. Unspoken power shifts do. Success isn't dangerous. Silence is. Because being rich together means allowing growth without creating hierarchy. Otherwise, one person becomes successful and the other becomes invisible. And no amount of money fixes that. In the end, they understood the real goal was never just financial success. It was building a life where both people still felt like they belonged on the same journey. Because the dream was never to become rich alone. It was always to become rich together.